Hello there and welcome to another Commodore 64 playthrough. And this time I'm going to play through the game that nearly wasn't, which is Lemmings. So the history of this game is that Lemmings was a very popular 16-bit game. So I remember playing it on the Archimedes, which was basically the BBC Micro's big brother. And also it then got ported to the Amiga, to the PC and so on. Now, this game came out right at the end of the Commodore 64 life cycle, and I seem to remember there was a lot of coverage in the magazines at the time with screenshots and development diaries with the sort of theory that there was no way that this was ever going to actually happen because the Commodore 64 just didn't seem to have the power to handle this because, first of all, it can only handle 8 sprites, 8 moving graphics at once, and even with multiplexing, multiplexing doesn't really work on a type of game like this because multiplexing is showing sprites through sort of horizontal and vertical resolutions, i.e. as the screen refreshes, and these Lemmings are often side by side. And then the other thing was just the pure sort of the controls, because the best way to play this, and indeed the Commodore 64 did have this option, was by mouse. And again, most people didn't have a mouse for a Commodore. You know, they have a joystick, keyboards, etc. So yeah, it was quite a challenge. But in 1994, which ironically was a sort of the year that basically Commodore disappeared, this game was released, and wow, what a game! It came on several different discs, and it was just absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to go through the options here. So I want sound effects, and then I want to keep it normal difficulty, and I want to have a one player. So it's going to ask me now to change the disc, which I will try and do. I've been playing around with these settings here, so let's have a look. So I should be able to change the disc. So okie, and then push a button to continue. That's how that works. If it doesn't, this is going to be a very short video. So yeah, so it's an absolute cult game. So the idea with Lemmings is that you control these little lemmings, these little characters, and you have to set them up, and you have to get them to go from, say, the beginning to the end of a level, and you have to save a certain amount. So there you go. So for example, you know, it's saying that 10% have to be saved. The Lemmings do different things. So some of them do nothing, some of them do dig, some of them blow themselves up, some of them build a bridge, some of them mine. It's a very, very clever, complicated game. So I'm going to just have a go. So I'm trying to see if I can remember how to do this. So yeah, so here we go. Here's our dudes. So we need them to get them to dig. So I think you just press, yeah, and then you press number 1. And then we'll get them to do some digging. So as you can see, the characters are not exactly well defined, but you know it's not bad for the Commodore. So I'm going to press number 8, and then get them to dig, and just press on them. You know, you can make the lemmings do different things as well. You know, it's not just you just pick a lemming and ask them to dig or blow themselves up or whatever you want to do. So yeah, so as you can see. We need to get them to go home, and that's the home on the right, and then they're going in the wrong direction. So yeah, and you also have some options where you can get them to release quicker, and you can do all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm just going to increase the release rate. There we go. So that was that level done. So it's a nice, simple, easy introduction for you, which I think is brilliant. So I rescued 100%. So, and then it gives you a code so you can skip to the next level and so on. So that's great. So let's see what we have to do in this second level. The blank screens are because it's loading off the disk. Obviously, I'm running this in an emulator, but still, you know, for Commodore 64, this is quite impressive. So, only floaters can survive this. So let's have a look. So I get yes, so I get a number of floaters. So they're going to do it off there. They're going to do it off there. So I think the idea is that I need to hit these guys as they do it, and they float. Yeah, so I'm just pressing my fire button. And then float, 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 float. Unfortunately, I'm going to run out of floaters, but I don't think that's not a problem because that's the whole point of the game, is that get in there. So that's quite cool, isn't it? So yeah, so I remember playing this at school. They had loads of BBC Micros, and they had this one Archimedes, and it was like, you know, only the sort of sixth formers got to go in it, so occasionally you get to go on this type of game as well. So yeah, so I did well there, didn't I? Okay, let's see what the next one is. Next level. Yeah, so there was a couple of games that came out right at the end of the 64 that were like this, that were very sort of innovative. So tailor made for blockers. So right, so I'm going to need to put some blockers, and my blockers are key number 4. So I think the idea with this is that you put a blocker there, and you stop them from going too far. Yeah. So not everybody's going to survive this one, because if you've got your blockers, and then I need to do the same thing on these two sides as well, which is quite cool. So which way are you going to go? You're going to go there. That's fine. So he's blocking there, and then I'll let him fall off there, and then I need to put a blocker here. So it's quite cool, and also it's not tremendously sort of difficult. You get plenty of time. You can blow them all up if you're just getting nowhere with it. It's quite nice the way that this was coded in terms of which direction are you going in there. So I need to put them in that direction. So that's fine. And then I need one more blocker there, and then we should be sorted. It's quite, it's quite nicely paced. You're not having to sort of the frantic gameplay of some sort of other Commodore games. And then I put that there, and then we can just do that. I'll just increase the rate, so we just get them firing away, and then we'll get some of them in. There we go, the first one in. And I quite like games like this. I'm not a massive gamer. I'm not a massive arcade player. Your Turricans and whatever is they're okay for some people, but for me, I quite like games like this that are more sort of sedate puzzle based. So I'm just going to warp this because I think we're okay now. Whoop 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 whoop. Yeah, I think there's a way of actually speeding it up as well. I can't. There's a lot of keys with this. Mostly it's the number keys 1 to 9, but there are different ways of doing this. So that'll do. Yes. So we're all okay. And now I need to blow them up, which is a bit of a shame, really, isn't it? So can I do that using the keys? No, I can't. According to this, it's one of these keys. I'm just trying to find out what it is. There we go. Blew them all up. Fantastic. So I didn't get them all, and I could never have got them all, but I did that. Apparently I've stormed. Wow, that's exciting. Oh, how exhilarating. So what's going to be next? I think it might be a bridge builder or a bomber. So it's gently introducing you to all the different types of lemmings, and then as you get through to the harder levels, you have to do multiples of things. Miners and climbers. Wow, miners and climbers. This will be exciting. So I need to get them all. Right. Challenge accepted. Okay. All right then. So okay. So I need to get my miner, which is key 7. So I'm assuming that you, my dude, are going to be a miner. And then which direction are we going in? That's not the right direction, is it? Okay, so then they need to climb up there. And then climbing, which is number 1. So we'll just wait for them to come there. I'll just get them to release them all because I think we're okay here. And then hopefully the dude will go up there and up there. No. Oh, are they going to end up climbing up there? Oh, well, I'm hoping that they fall down. I didn't mean that. Let's have a quick check. Let's make him a climber. Now, a climber, is he going to go up? Wow, look at that. Look at that. Hey, then graphics. Fantastic. Yeah, so we're just turning all these into climbers. Blip, blip, blip. There is music as well, but I don't like to put the music on too much when I'm doing a playthrough because it's just distracting. Unless it adds to the game, of course, darlings. So there we go. Nearly done. What a cool game. It may be better to play the PC version or play the Amiga version or whatever, but I don't feel playing this that I'm playing a lesser game. Sometimes, especially when I'm doing my Commodore 16 playthroughs, you just know you're playing a sort of shandy version of what was a pint of bitter. Whereas with this game, I don't feel at all whatsoever that I'm missing out on something. Yeah, it's fair enough. The graphics aren't the same resolution. The controls aren't great. in terms of, you got to move your mouse around, you got to move your joystick around instead of moving a mouse around. But it does support mouse emulation apparently, but I've never managed to get it to work, and that's just probably me being a cretin. But you don't feel like you're not playing Lemmings, you're playing Lemmings Light or something, and it's tremendous this. So let's have a look. Rating fun. Oh, bashers. Let's have a look at bashers. Oh yes, I remember these guys. They sort of they bash through the wall or whatever it is you're looking for. So I'm gonna make him a basher. Go on, son. Go on, son. No. No, he doesn't want to bash. That's it. Fantastic. Okay. Where's our home? It's there. Right. I think you have to do a few because they only bash for so long. Why am I not bashing? Oh, I'm not getting my timing right here. Yeah, there we go. Bash, bash, bash. Fantastic. And is that it? Or do I have to do some more sort of clever stuff? Don't know if I'm going to get through there or not. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see how cool it is. And it's quite, it's quite smooth. It's that old Commodore trick though, if you can tell that the amount of desktop you've got, screen if you like, you can tell that you're playing a lesser game because they've reduced the amount of screen that they have to resolve. This isn't the full screen obviously, even on an emulator. So I'm gonna have to bash this by the looks of things. Oh, didn't want to do that. I want to bash this bit. Not doing very well here, am I? Let's have a look. Oh dear, I'm losing them all. No. Oh no. Oh, what a terrible example. Oh no, 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 no. I'm going to lose them all. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Oh no. Oh, what a terrible, terrible example to set. Okay, all right. So I should have bashed there. Fair enough. Yeah, so that's Lemmings. So what a cool game. Well worth investing a couple of hours into playing this. Yeah, can't recommend it highly enough. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Any questions, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe, as I get a message saying I am absolutely shocking. Yes, I should go and sit in a darkened room for a bit. Thank you very much.